Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare two ancient Roman recipes, gourd and hard-boiled eggs, seasoned with spices. We start with ingredients. We need a gourd, eggs, wheat starch, olive oil, white wine, garum and the spices, black pepper, cumin, lovage and asafoetida. And then fresh oregano and one onion. This specific onion is a bit shy and is hiding somewhere, probably behind the gourd, but surely it will show up soon. These recipes are part of the Re Cucinaria, the most famous ancient Roman cookbook, conventionally attributed to Apicius. First, we peel and cut the gourd. Ancient Romans and Greeks cultivated two kinds of gourds. The first is the one we are using today, called Lagenaria longissima. The other is the bottle gourd. The two different kinds of gourds are mentioned by Theophrastus in the Historia Plantarum and Athenaeus in the De Hypnosophists, as well as by Pliny. In the Re Cucinaria, the author doesn't specify which kind of gourd to choose, but in another recipe it is clear he is referring to the bottle gourd, considering that the method calls for stuffing it. The Latin word for both kinds of gourd is cucurbita. We cook the gourd in a pan with a bit of olive oil. The cooking time depends on the gourd variety and how much it's ripe. We will have to mash the gourd, so it must be well cooked. If you need it, you can add a bit of water to finish the cooking. Pliny in De Naturalis Historia describes the two main varieties of cucurbite, with some interesting details. He calls them camararia, which grows dangling from the roof, and plebeia, which means common. The latter grows on the ground. The gourds of the first variety are remarkably big and heavy. It's common to give them a shape, making them grow in a casing made with woven vines, frequently a serpent shape. They are very long, Pliny continues. They can reach 9 pedes, which is equivalent to about 2.7 meters. However, gourds are eaten still young, like the one we are preparing today. Meanwhile, we prepare the sauce. We grind in the mortar black pepper, lovage and cumin. Pepper, lovage, cumin and oregano is one of the combination of spices the author of this book prefers. Pay attention not to use too much lovage, because paired with pepper turns very spicy. As guessed, the onion has finally shown up. We mince the onion and the oregano and pound them in the mortar. Then we will dilute the sauce with a bit of garum, white wine and olive oil. You can use oregano fresh or dry according to your taste. Garum was the most famous fish sauce of the ancient Mediterranean populations. Some kinds of garum were prepared in the same way as the traditional Southeast Asian fish sauces. A good substitute for garum, as well as more simply salt. In any case, if you're interested in knowing more about ancient garum, you find on our Patreon page our work in progress to make garum from a recipe described in the Geoponics, one of the most complete sources about the ancient recipes for garum. In our Patreon page, you find also further information about the use of the Mediterranean spices in ancient Roman cuisine. When the gourd is cooked through, we mash it. If the gourd is really young and tender, you don't need the mortar, you can mash it with a spoon. There is no need to obtain a puree. Small bits of gourd make this plate very tasty. In any case, follow your taste for the texture you prefer. We briefly cook the sauce. As soon as it starts to boil, we thicken it with a bit of starch diluted in water. Now we hard boil the eggs. Meanwhile, we prepare the sauce for the eggs. We grind the black pepper, grate the asafoetida, and dilute with a bit of garum. If you prefer, you can use also white or long pepper, both used by ancient Romans, but more costly than black pepper. The author doesn't specify which kind to choose. For this recipe, we are using asafoetida, which is equivalent to the cheaper kind of silphium, one of the most used spices among the ancient Mediterranean populations. This variety of silphium was called by Romans Laser particum. Laser cyrenaicum instead was more costly and prized, but it became increasingly rare since the 1st century until it disappeared completely. We serve the gourd and the eggs with their sauces. The spicy, intense, and slightly sour flavor of the sauce contrasts with the delicate sweetness of the gourd in a delicious way. The more the gourd is young, the more it is sweet and perfect for this side dish. The simple dressing of the eggs instead enhances each ingredient. The intense and aromatic flavor of asafoetida mixes with garum and pepper perfectly, making the flavor of the eggs fragrant and delicious. If you're interested in ancient foods and flavors, or you're just looking for unusual and delicious recipes, please subscribe our channel and consider supporting us on Patreon, where you will find once a week a new article about historical cooking, and once a month a historical source translated into English and Italian.